We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. Cause Kristen knows blank.
Hello, sharks. My name's Kristin Key, and I'm a comedian in charge of this podcast. And I'm seeking $18 billion in exchange for 1% of this podcast. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Kristen Knows Blank podcast. I've got a great businessy topic podcast today. I have a very funny guest coming on. We're going to talk about, so anyway, we'll get to that. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's going to be a really good time. While you get settled in, go ahead and take a second to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast. Yeah. However you're watching, however you're listening, there's going to be a little button. This is like, follow, or subscribe. Push that button. See what happens. You could get $1 bazillion. You don't know. Hi, I'm Kristin. I'm the host of this crazy mess. You can find me through my website, KristinKey.com, Kristin with 2 I's. There you can follow me on all my social media. Join the Patreon. The Patreon supports this show and all of my shows. And it's just nice. We have a monthly game night, a lot of fun stuff. Join the Patreon. It's worth it. And I'm on Cameo. Get a cameo from me. I'm a musical comedian. I play songs for everybody that gets a cameo. So give a unique gift, which is a cameo from me. Now, my guest today is a hilarious comedian. You've seen him on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He's got a dry bar special that's hilarious. You may remember him from Last Comic Standing. Hey, computer lady, play that interview with Nick Guerrero.
Playing interview with Nick Guerrero.
So Nick, thanks for coming on today. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's been a minute. I saw you last time, I think, in Long Beach? Bellflower?
Possibly. Oh, yeah. That's probably the last time I did it, too.
Yeah, me too. And we used to do those cochino gigs.
Oh, yeah. I know. I was thinking about him like 2 days ago. I was like, man, I wonder what he's been up to.
Something popped up on my like this time 9 years ago, and I don't drink anymore, but I was like wasted somewhere in Palm Desert. I was like, oh, it's a cochino gig. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. The Palm Desert gig. That's funny. Yeah. I don't. Did we do it together where? Because it's mostly military there, and everybody was on call, and so there was nobody at the show.
Yeah, I've done shows where there were people there, and then where it was empty. But that was one of those where I think I showed up on a party bus once.
Yeah. He had us in a party limo.
Yeah.
And I was groped by an older woman.
I'm not that old, and I didn't mean to. No. No, that is crazy. Yeah, it was like us, like comedians and a bunch of cougars on a party limo with like a stripper pole in it. And you're like, oh God, please don't let anybody go. Everybody's on the pole. Oh God.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was like, okay. And it's somehow he got like a local Pizza Hut to sponsor it. I remember that. And I was just like, if Pizza Hut knew.
Oh my God. It's so funny and you're so funny. I've watched your career since I met you. You are so funny. And I think back at that and I'm like, okay. It just happened that we were working some of these gigs because you had no business working those gigs, but I guess that's where we all start,
Oh yeah. Well, I've learned now it's just like, just take it before it goes, especially since COVID. It's like, just take it. Just take the gigs.
And you never know who you're gonna where you're gonna see amazing comics around like the greater Los Angeles area. Like I saw Fortune Feimster the very first time at this really like divey place in Echo Park. And like I remember like the whole night I came home just like raving. I was like, this girl is so much funnier than I am, and it was like pissing me off. But yeah,
that's funny.
The fun part of LA. Funny. So most comics, I mean, I guess there's a stereotype of like not great with money, kind of just like maybe self-destructive. You like when I ask you what you're super into, you really like you're into business and
yes,
and business television. So I'm like, and I've noticed that like you're meticulous about you definitely do things to advance your career that are you're very thoughtful about your craft. Do you think that those two go hand in hand?
Yeah, I mean, yes, very much so. I think it's funny because you said, yeah, a lot of comics are self-destructive and not good with money. I'm actually
sorry, when you said, I was like, that's me.
Yeah. Well, I'm still living off of money that the random money I made in 2015, I still have in my bank account. So, and I've actually talking to a financial advisor to figure out because I've got a lot of different places where I invest in money, like just to put it in a single place. And I think it is part of it. It's I don't know. I've always enjoyed the science behind any art, but stand up, obviously, since I'm in it, because it all kind of comes down to you can figure out the math behind it, the formulas behind it, crowd control, and all that is science, crowd psychology.
Yeah.
Even, talking to people, there's a science behind it of knowing how far you could take it by looking at their cues, knowing when the audience will be into it. Like, I've learned, a prime example is when to attack a heckler, and I remember early on it was like somebody would interrupt, and in my mind I'm like, oh, I could get them now. But then I learned that the crowd had to be on your side. So you would have to let that heckler interrupt about 3 times before you could officially address it. Because we've always addressed it too early, and the crowd's just, they're not on your side, and you're like, okay, all right, then I'm the asshole. All right, keep talking.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you've seen that. We've all seen that.
yeah. I'm pretty meticulous. I like a lot of business things, the socioeconomics. I like watching also. I sent you a list of things I like watching. Uh, because I like Kitchen Nightmares, for example, is a
Okay.
great look into what's wrong with America. There's a lot of mediocre people who believe they could be the heads of their own company, and it's their stubbornness and their pride that ruins their advancement. And I bring that into my idea behind stand up and even comedy clubs, why certain comedy clubs don't hit. And it's usually comes down to pride of the owner, you
Do
know?
you? I've been doing this 22 years now, and I don't say anything now when a club is mismanaged because there were a few years where I thought it was my job. I need to tell you what you're doing wrong with your club. And I noticed that all it did was affect my relationship with the club owner differently. But I feel like as a comic doing this so long, there's a lot like there's some things that I see like I watched Bar Rescue a lot when it was on. I know it's been off for a while. It was one of my favorite shows, a lot like Kitchen Nightmares and kind of like The
Yeah.
Prophet, where you go in and you see when clubs give away free drinks to the comedians, that to me is a huge, like, it's the first thing, like, you're probably not going to do that well for a long
Yeah.
time because
Yeah. Yeah.
you're giving away two of your commodities. Like, one is your alcohol and two is your talent. And if like people like me that will drink you, I'll drink you out of liquor, and then I can't perform very well. Well, look what you
Yeah.
just, yeah. But yeah.
It's funny. There was a comedy club that was on Bar Rescue. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh my God,
Howard's place. Was that Howard's place
Howard.
in
Yeah,
Phoenix?
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Howard,
That
man,
guy.
he's such a character. But yeah, it's I think honestly, I never told a club what it was doing wrong. There's maybe
You're
one club
smart man.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'll do is if I'm like doing a bar gig or a one nighter, I used to show up at 3 p.m., like right when I would come into town, go to the venue, and then I would set it for comedy. And I would talk to the owner about this is the best way for this audience for any audience to enjoy a show. And that's when I would speak up, but not an actual comedy club. Cause I'm like, well, there's a difference between, talking to a guy about one night at his place just so I make it better for me versus telling an owner of a comedy club like, you should probably bring the lights down.
Right. Yeah.
you
Seat
know?
people front to back. Seat people front to back would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
Don't
you thought
drop
about
checks.
updating the sound
That would
system?
be,
Yeah. Have you
yeah.
ever seen
Oh.
certain like microphones where I remember somebody had opened up a microphone once at a comedy club and it was just tartar on the inside, and it's just like you don't even think about it like, oh, that's right. Everyone's spit is just getting shot at this
Right.
mesh thing. Yeah, it's bad. But I
Well,
don't know what to say to them.
no, and it's just like little things that like now I'm just like let it go, move on, like go hang out in the green room. But like
Yeah.
I grew up in a comedy club. My first few years I started at 19 in Amarillo, Texas. And I remember our club owner would always get so pissed at the comics that would come in and like use the microphone as a prop and bang them on the head and drop it on the floor. And he'd be like, guys, you got it, because he was going through a microphone like every couple months. And now when I go to a place where like the stool's broken or like the mic stand doesn't work, I'm like, oh my God, guys, stop breaking their things because they don't replace them anymore.
You know what's funny is the worst thing is when it breaks on you and now you're the
Looks
one
like
that
I'm the asshole.
yeah. So that happened to me a few times where it would break and it's like, oh, Nick. I'm like, I didn't What do you think it was just me tonight?
Right. I did it with the stool at one of the loony bins, and I'm like, you know, it wasn't me. You know, it was the 800-pound comedian that was here last week. Like,
Exactly. You know, it's the guy that body slammed the stool in an act out.
so what is it about these people that like on the episodes that they buy a restaurant, they think they can make it run, but what is it that they're lacking?
I think the biggest thing they're lacking is a singular focus, which is kind of the biggest thing that, you know, Gordon Ramsay would always point out. Your menu's too confusing. There's too much stuff, and there's no singular, like, this is what you should be. Because I think a lot of people, when they own a business, you know, they're like, oh, we're going to make it a dance club. We're going to make it a restaurant and a movie theater. And it's also going to be a daycare. And they want to squeeze that lemon of everything, not just the juice, but the seeds and the rind. And that's what I notice. It's like, and I even kind of adopt that in stand up. I don't know if you've heard the anecdote, and I don't even know if it truly came from him. But supposedly there's a myth that a comedian asked Jay Leno why he worked 100% clean. And Jay said, you're either 100% clean or 100% dirty. If you're in the middle, you're too clean for the dirty crowd and you're too dirty for the clean crowd. So you got to figure out where you're at, right? So I took that idea of 100%, and I would always see like the comics that were 100% who they were presenting to their audience, as in, let's take for consider. I was speaking to Josh Blue, and Josh Blue talked about how he's like, yeah, I'm a pothead comic. You know, I talk about pot here and there, but Doug Benson, he shouts it from the mountains. You know, he 100% embraces that. And when Josh Blue said he 100% embraces that, that means that Doug's audience knew 100% that they were going to see a pothead comic.
Right.
You know, so I see that with the restaurants where it's like they don't have that focus of like, we are 100% Italian restaurant. We're only doing Italian food. We're not a bar. We're not this and that. So it's interesting to kind of try to put that in you. Now, it's hard for a comic to be 100% anything. Honestly, it's hard. We're too complex, you know? That would be literally like John Panette. John Panette was 100% the guy that ate food, you know? So Jim Gaffigan, 100% the guy that ate food. So you knew that's what you were kind of see. But I don't know if it's like, if you're the same way. I don't want to be 100% something.
I get rebellious even against myself, because there have been years where I've gone 100% clean. I'm doing this, and I made an album, and then I went right back to in the clubs. You know what? I'm a dog off a leash. I'm gonna have fun, and then it's like, and I'll go back and I'll be like, okay, tonight I'm gonna be clean. But then the next night I'm like, I don't want to know more. Like, so I go back and forth because I'm so anti-authority. I'm against my own. I'm like, you can't tell me what to do, Kristin. I'm like, but I'm trying to look out for us. You know?
Who are you to tell me who I am?
Right. But at the same time, I think early, like the longer we do this, the more we kind of like our brand becomes like, oh no, I know I'm definitely not that, and I can narrow down things I'm not. Because when I first started, I was straight. I drank on stage. I was a huge pothead. Like a lot of things that I'm not anymore. You know, now you're going to see a gay comic. I'm probably going to talk about a cat at some point. You know, I'm probably not going to like shock you too much.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like I had to whittle down my menu to like the 4 or 5 dishes that I'm best at. Because I started with like a Cheesecake Factory menu. I don't know if, are you Italian? Do you serve burgers? What are you, a salad place? What are you?
Yeah. Are we doing just dessert? What is
Are we, yeah, is it just cheesecake? How many cheesecakes do you have?
Yeah. So I think that's it. And it's hard to be one thing, but it's even harder to be 80. And defining that brand and you know, the idea of brand or whatever. Yes, we have to kind of think that way. I read the book Keller Williams One, and he talked about that. You know, the owner of Keller Williams, or the creator, he's like, define yourself by one thing. I'm very much an information addict. I like to piece things together. So with that example, I would look into the careers of people that I kind of admire, like Dr. Dre. And Dr. Dre was known for his beats, right? So he's known as the guy that makes great beats. Then when the idea of apparel came along, they wanted to do a shoe with him. He's like, nah, it's not, I don't know, that doesn't fit me. So they came up with headphones and they called it Beats by Dre. So it's literally something everyone said is like, you want good beats? Get Beats by Dre, get Beats by Dre. And so he made headphones, which it fits the producer,
Right.
called it Beats by Dre, right? And that's what hit a billion. That's what made him a billionaire. And I remember seeing it personally with a friend who, for the first time, saw Beats by Dre at Best Buy, and he thought it was going to be Beats. Like, he thought it was going to be a box filled with, like, oh man, I'm gonna get some instrumentals, not knowing like that was the trick. So it's
so
that,
cool.
you know, I piece all those things together, and I'm like, okay, so how much can I adopt to myself? And I guess that's what kind of I get intrigued about when reading books about business or watching shows about business or talking about business.
Like Shark Tank. Shark Tank is all about branding. It's all
Yes.
about, like, 'cause you mentioned that you like Shark Tank. It's one of my wife's guilty pleasures, and so I end up watching it more than I ever thought I would. But it is like it can hook you in, and basically, I think, I mean, the sales pitch goes a long way. But if they have good branding, if they know their brand inside and out, I don't know. I guess they're more likely to get a deal. I don't know.
No, yeah,
Sometimes I can't
exactly
tell
it.
why people don't bite on some of the stuff.
Yeah, I think you can know, you know, with Shark Tank, what I've noticed the most is when the person that is pitching the idea, when they just don't want to let go of what they thought they were, you know, like, and or they just don't understand. It's like, look, um, you're gonna have to sell part of yourself. You're not gonna get the best. You're not gonna get your ultimate deal. If you do, amazing, but you're not. And if you can deal with that going in, then you can kind of compromise through life, because life is just a bunch of compromises. And I
Right.
watched the show for that, to see the attitude. There's some people with brilliant products on there that just will not let go of the dream deal that they want, you
Right.
know? And sometimes we have to make that. It's like we talked about, like doing these gigs that you know, a lot of comics would be like, oh, this is beneath me. It's like, well, for what? A lot
Probably,
of,
but let's do it anyway.
let's do it anyway. I might get 5 fans out of it. You
Right.
know, I might be able to. I've learned the compromise is this: if the gig I feel is beneath me, and I accept it, well, then that means that this is a night for me to play around with my set. You know, versus a corporate gig that pays me a good amount. It's like, well, you're going to get the
Yeah.
polished set,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and you learn that. You learn the compromise of like, okay, I'll take the gig, but you're not getting
Right.
the
Right.
best of me, you know.
I'm working on my chops. I'm doing what I've done. Like, this is exactly the same kind of gig I did back in old Texas, back when I was first starting. I'm still gonna do these, and I'm probably gonna do it the same way. Where here's my trusted. Here's some shit I don't know. I'm gonna throw
Yeah,
it out there, and I don't even care if it works out. Great. I'm gonna go work
yeah,
on that later. But this is the same thing I've done for 20 years, and the good stuff goes into the high paying gigs, and
yeah.
the other
It's
stuff's
the
a
compromise.
mystery. It's a mystery to all of us. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. It's a big mystery, and I think I like that. I've been obsessed with puzzles since I should have wrote that down. Puzzles are my
Oh,
favorite thing.
God damn it. We're gonna have to have you back on. I'm leaving on Sunday on a cruise ship, and I'm just convinced I'm gonna get stuck. You know?
I know, because you went through it.
Yeah, and everybody I know right now is like, I got COVID, tested positive. I'm in the bowels of a ship. I'm like, oh God. So I packed two. I'm trying to keep them on the low, like 300 to 500 pieces, like
Oh
two of
yeah,
them, because I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know how much space I'm gonna have.
yeah.
But I picked a couple puzzles. Cause I'm like, if you're on lockdown, it's the best thing to do. I didn't know you were a puzzle guy.
Oh, they were all gone. I remember when the lockdown first happened, it was hard to find puzzles. Oh, I'm a big puzzle guy, to the point where if I stayed at a Airbnb a while ago and there was a puzzle out, and that was it. I was just there all night putting it together. And I can't watch other people put puzzles together, because they get aggravated, and puzzles are all about patience and
Hmm.
order, you
Yeah.
know. And it's, I think, living that lifestyle as a kid is kind of how I would puzzle together life. Yeah, I'd start, okay, what's the order of it, what's piece in this? But don't you hate when somebody, you can just jams a piece and then you don't know they did it until the end, and you're like, why is this not fitting? And then you find the brown piece that was jammed into the sand.
Just ever so slightly off. You're like,
Yeah.
you couldn't go there, man. I had to redo the whole, and it's an end piece, you dick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I like puzzles.
You get it. Yeah.
Because it's a good way to approach, because you're like, I'm going to complete it, and it feels good. The way to get there is just start. To me, I start at the edges. Edges, and then if it's, I'd have you back on to talk about puzzles. Yeah, because we did these. My mom got these. They're called mystery puzzles, and you don't have the picture of them. You just read the mystery. And we were, something to do with my mom. So you read this like the movie Clue or something. Who killed Mr. Body? And it gives you it kind of describes the room that you're in. No picture, and then you gotta put the puzzle together. So we're like, we know there's a piano. So someone's putting together the piano. Someone's putting together a painting over there, and then you kind of try to fit the object into the puzzle. It's a different way than I've worked in before.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So fun. I mean, if you think that's fun, America.
Yeah. I would love it. I was staying at my about a couple of years ago. I went with my girlfriend to her parents' house on the holidays. They also have a lot of puzzles, and we pulled out a puzzle and started doing it. Didn't really look at the box at all, right? There was like a picture on it, and finally, after getting really frustrated with it, we looked at the box, and it was literally called the world's most impossible puzzle, because it had the picture on both sides flipped upside down. So you couldn't just follow the pieces. And I was just like, oh my, no wonder we weren't getting this.
Yeah. That's just, you get that for an ex. That's something that you give to someone you just don't like.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what it felt like. And I was happy to find out that it was just supposed to be impossible, because I really was hurt that I couldn't figure this puzzle out.
Oh my God, I'm going to start traveling with a puzzle every time I'm on the road, and I'm going to hope that we end up working together, because we will.
Oh man, we'll finish it.
We call it playing puzzle. We're going to play puzzle. We'll play puzzle. Yeah. We'll put it in the green room, and then we'll just spend the whole time. There should be more puzzles in green rooms.
And I'll give you one more puzzle story. I was doing Chicago Improv. The one time they let me headline it. The one time. And some fan that I didn't even know was a fan bought me a glass puzzle that was a little Bambi, but it was like a statue. So you had to piece it together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I pieced it together. I don't even know how they knew I liked puzzles, or if they just randomly did it. So it kind of freaked me out. And it just turned into a little Bambi statue. But that was my thing for the whole weekend in the green room, was putting a little
That's
puzzle
cool. It's the weird, the things that's why that's why I do this podcast, is because I find out what do comics do when we're not comedying, and we usually talk about them in the green room. When we're not talking about like food and porn, there's really a lot of things that comics get into. And so it's fun to find all our hobbies. Well,
the puzzle of porn itself is a puzzle. It's
you got to start somewhere. You
got to start. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, what do I like? Let me figure out the edges of everything I like. But once you get to that middle part of that's where it's the dirtiest. You're like, okay, now
that last piece in. Boy, that is the best. It's time for
5 quick questions.
All right, this is the podcast in 3 parts. There's a chit chat. There's 5 quick questions and a rad lib. We've chit chatted. Now it's time for 5 quick questions. Products that were featured on Shark Tank. All you have to tell me is, did Shark Tank pick them up, or did they pass on them? And these are all multi-million-dollar products, very popular products. They all went on Shark Tank, and Shark Tank either bit or passed. So yes or no. Number 1, Books, the flower delivery company, was on Shark Tank. Did Shark Tank give an offer? Did they pass?
The flower delivery company. That sounds like something that
Books.
Not Lori. It would have either been Lori or I forget the name of the other female shark. No, or wasn't it? I think somebody did say yes to that one. And
they passed on Books.
They passed on it?
Yes, and it is like the largest flower delivery company right now. Like, it's what my wife uses. Like, I get an email for Books almost every day, and they're so popular, and Shark Tank passed on it.
Wow.
Okay, number two. I mean, I'm rooting against you, so yes. Okay, number 2.
You won that one.
The Squatty Potty, which is one of the greatest products that's ever been invented. The Squatty Potty, the stool that you put your feet on, it makes it more efficient when you go. If you don't have one, my God, go get one. Did Shark Tank participate in it, or did they pass?
Oh man, now I'm doubting myself, but I think they did participate in the Squatty Potty.
That is correct. Lori owns 10% of Squatty Potty, and she bought 10% of Squatty Potty for $350,000. Great buy, Lori. And seriously, everybody, if you don't have a Squatty Potty, get a Squatty Potty.
And get a legit one, because I got one that was like a squat, and and it was just a step. And I was like, this is not comfortable. It didn't have the incline of it.
Right.
I was like, you got to get the incline. Yep.
And it's supposed to fit snugly against your toilet, and you pull it out. I had to explain to my dad that you pull it out. He was like, how do you get your feet up on there? I'm like, Dad,
funny.
You pull it out. No one rides their toilet like that.
That's funny.
Okay, number three. Bombas socks. Bombas socks. Very popular socks. They're the no-slip socks.
I know the pitch. I remember them pitching it, and they were all against the whole giving a pair away for free. They passed. I think they passed, and it was Damon that was the one that said, we don't want to give, or it could have been him that said yes. I think they passed. I could be wrong.
It was Damon, and he said yes.
He did say yes.
Yes,
okay,
he said
yeah,
yes.
all right.
No, you're good. You know your stuff. He owns 17% of Bombas, so he got a good percentage of it for $200,000. Yeah. 4 Kodiak cakes. Kodiak cakes, it's a pancake mix, and now they have like muffins, all kinds of stuff. I eat their pancakes almost every morning. Kodiak cakes went on Shark Tank. Multi-million-dollar company.
I think they said yes.
They passed on Kodiak cakes.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I made this too hard. I'm smoking you.
Oh no!
Great. Okay.
I need to watch them all over again now. Oh my god!
This is the thing. I've seen all these episodes, and I couldn't tell you what made it and what doesn't, because sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. All right, last one, number five, and this is to just a nail in your coffin. Ring. The
they
doorbells.
Passed.
That is correct. That's correct.
Yes.
You got that one right. All right. Answered my questions, you talked to me, and now it's time. It's my favorite part of every episode. And now it's time for Rad Libs. So here's what happened. I've written a story and I've left out some parts of speech. If you give me those words, then we're going to create a hilarious story together. Are you ready to play Rad Libs?
Let's do what I can. I need to brush up on my English terms, like noun, adjective, and verb.
Well, I'm not the smartest apple in the tool shed, so let's see. Let's start with a verb ending in ing.
Okay, jumping.
Yes. I need a number.
17.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yes. A body part.
Toe.
Yes.
Big toe, specifically.
That's the one. That's the one we were looking for. A container.
I don't want to say Tupperware.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that.
You already said it. Plural noun. It could be anythings. Just objects, somethings.
Yeah, geese,
Person,
right?
places, or things. Geese.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Next one is animals, plural.
Animals, plural.
The
Whoa.
irony.
All right, mice.
Nice. A verb.
Punch.
Excellent. Another plural noun.
Octopi.
Occupation.
Mobster.
Yes. Excellent. An important person.
Greta Thunberg.
Yes. Personal question.
How much do I love Jackie Chan?
Something listed on a driver's license.
Expiration date.
Excellent. A food.
Oh, but just do pizza. Everybody likes pizza.
Yeah, I sure do. An affirmative response that's not yes.
We'll definitely look into that.
A liquid.
Oh, shampoo.
A nickname.
Nicky No Nose.
A praise for a dog.
A praise for a dog. Oh man, he's right here too. I hope he doesn't think I'm talking about him. Nice potty. There you go.
Nice potty. Okay, we got a story.
All right, okay.
Woo! All right, everybody. This is how to succeed in business. I can't wait. I would like to succeed in business. Here we go. How do you succeed in business? One word: jumping. That's right. With my business strategy tips, you'll be jumping your way to success in no time. All you have to do is follow my 17 easy tips. And before you know it, you'll be making money big toe over fist.
Yeah.
1. Invest wisely. Don't keep all your geese in one Tupperware.
True.
And never count your mice before they punch. If you're unsure whether to invest in tech stocks, crypto, or octopi, then talk to a professional mobster. They are the experts. Step 2, relationships. Treat every potential client like Greta Thunberg.
Yes, very true.
Learn their names and expiration dates.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask them, how much do I love Jackie Chan?
That's an icebreaker.
That's right. Most importantly, never refuse an invitation. Some of the biggest business deals are made over pizza. If a colleague asks you to a party or event, always say, well, we'll definitely look into that. Step 3, stay positive. When life gives you lemons, make shampoo.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Every day when you wake up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror and say, Nicky No-Nos, nice potty.
There you go. Boom.
Well done, Nicky No-Nos.
That would work. All of those things would make somebody a great business person.
I can't wait to see my money just rolling in, big toe over fist.
Yes.
Tell everybody watching and listening where they can find you and what you've got coming up.
You can find me at Nick Comic on almost everything. Instagram is usually where I put up my most stuff.
Guys, Nick is hilarious. I'm not just saying that because you're sitting in front of me. So guys, follow and find all of Nick's clips online. You are very, very talented comic, very clever. Always nice to run into you. So thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Interview complete. Sealing Nick in Tupperware and storing him next to the geese.
I am really going to have to talk to her about how to say goodbye to guests. Well, bye, Nick. Thank you for coming on, guys. Please follow, become a fan of Nick. And, hey, find me online, KristinKey.com. Follow me on all my social media. Join the Patreon. It's a good way to support this and all my shows. And get a cameo for me. It's a great way to give someone a unique gift. Every week, most weeks, some weeks, I'll be bringing you another hilarious comedian. We're going to chit-chat, play 5 quick questions, play a Rad Lib at the end. Until next time.
We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. 'Cause Kristen knows plenty.